Hi there, Thomas. I trust that today is another good day in Grahamstown. It is still slightly cold here in Gordons Bay, but I'll survive because, well, I've got layers, and I'm not talking about clothing. So, as mentioned, we're going to jump around between several subjects, and you did mention Tin Muk Chat, and I hope that you're ready to make a recording about your guides coming to visit and the stromatolites. I expect to see a video about that. But for now, let us then go back a couple of years into our not that we are out of our prime, but many years ago when we were more in our prime, we both worked.
I like that.
We both worked at a company called the Council for Geoscience, which is one of the science councils of South Africa. But I'm not going to waste too much time because we will go back to the Council for Geoscience many times. Of that, I'm sure. But
Okay, look, I just want to
yes.
I just want to quickly correct you. I never worked for the Council of Geosciences.
Did you leave?
I still worked for the I left in 1990, so I worked for the Geological Survey.
Okay, because we were only established on the 1st of September 1993. We became the Council for Geoscience.
Yes, no, I worked for a Geological Survey,
Okay.
Which is basically the same crowd, just a different name and different.
It was exactly the same crowd for many years afterwards. But you were involved in a very interesting and specific project that I really, really tried my best to get involved in. But this is the one thing that I couldn't get right. And that is the so-called.
You have to be one of the select few, and I'm sorry to tell you, but you didn't qualify. And you can use the F word a bit later towards me, but I'm pulling your leg, Leon.
No, it's fine. I was in the engineering geology division. You were in geochemistry, and that's probably what disqualified me. Even though, I mean, I had geophysics and physics. And geology and engineering geology, all up to third year level, overqualified. Anyway, you were involved in the so-called Helicopter Project. But before I'm going to give you the mic to speak, for outside viewers, etc., you can download all the geochemical maps from the Council for Geoscience website free of charge. And when you click on a button or a point, I don't know how many you remember where you were specifically, and I also don't remember how many elements were measured or analyzed. That's the word. But you can download that data free of charge, which is actually amazing. But tell me about the Helicopter Project.
Okay, the Helicopter Project, that is worth a couple of these videos. So just a brief background. My involvement is I was actually one of the geologists that used to fly around. We used to normally be 4 in the field. And so we did the navigation because we were given aerial photographs with the points already plotted before we took off.
By Skalk?
Yes, Skalk Menard.
Yes.
Unfortunately, he's passed away, yes. So he did the aerial photographs for 10 months of the year. And then we flew in 2 months of the year. And we always flew in the coldest months, June and July, because they didn't like us. I think that was one reason. And the second reason is because helicopters have got a bigger lift in colder air. And so the helicopters could carry the samples easier.
It was also a hunting
So
season, but we'll get to that.
okay, I can say with a very clear conscience, I never went up there with a ketty, so nor a gun. I'm not a hunter.
No, I'm talking about the farmers who were shooting at the helicopter.
Oh yes, that was. We actually had. Yeah, this is another topic we can. So the helicopter project, we can maybe make like 5 or so. Yeah,
Easy.
Yes, so it was.
So what was the main
it was
aim?
Okay, the main aim was we used to sample first order streams, which a first order stream is a stream before it runs into another stream. And the reason we did that is because anything that you found in that first order stream could only come from that environment. So if we take like an example, the Orange River, if you sample the Orange River at Oranje, then you get all the gravel that has come from Lesotho and all over the show. But if you go, so we took that samples, we analyzed those samples so that we could see which elements, like we tested for lead, copper, there was a whole range, I think like 16 or 20 different elements that we, and then if we found a high anomaly of, let's say, copper, then mining companies could use that to go and explore, to try and find copper deposits, for instance. And so it was used for geochemically mapping the country. Another example is prior to me joining in 1987, they sampled the Beaufort West area because at that stage there was a huge demand for uranium, and they discovered uranium deposits over there. So I know that they flew in the Beaufort West area to map that area out where exploration companies could go to.
No, well, and you know, I've seen the maps, and I've actually used the maps myself. Even as an engineering geologist, we could use the maps, and as I say, nowadays the maps are available for free download. And you're right, I think it's like 20 elements. Okay, the project never covered the whole of South Africa as was the intention, because then at some point we started doing exactly the same thing, but in other countries. And South Africa was never fully mapped, but a large portion of, the northern regions of South Africa was done and mapped in this way. So a very large portion of the so-called Bushveld igneous complex were mapped, and I think that data is absolutely invaluable. But I'm sure you also had some interesting incidents along the process.
Yeah, if like for instance, an interesting fact for me is I took the most expensive. So because I enjoy taking photographs, I was designated like the official photographer at when we went out on these trips. And so I had my old Ashai Pentax Spotmatic camera. And so and in those days we were public servants. So we actually got paid less than what you get paid with private companies. Today it's the other way around, because public servants aren't public servants anymore, but they get paid more than what you normally get paid in private companies. But that's another topic. So the one day I decided I'm going to now just take brilliant photographs. And I went and bought myself a 200 millimeter lens for my Ashai Pentax Spotmatic. And so we used to communicate those days with a helicopter with a radio. And so I found, because we knew exactly the route the helicopter was going to fly, I climbed into a tree. And there was like a kloof, And I said to the helicopter pilot, I said, you must fly down this kloof so that I could take a photograph out of this tree. And I think it was still one of the combretum trees that I climbed into. And I actually took the radio with me. And so after I'd taken that photograph, it was a brilliant photograph. I think I still got a copy of it. And when I climbed out of the tree, my camera fell out of my hands. And it broke I think I paid like 1,200 Rand. In those days, it was like almost half of my pay. And that lens broke. So that one photograph cost me 1,200 Rand. It's the most expensive photograph I've ever taken.
I remember your picture of the helicopter coming up. You were standing on a bridge and you were taking it from above, and the helicopter were coming up because you had total control of telling the pilot what to do. But our time for now has run out. But as you say, this topic alone is probably worth 5 interviews or whatever. But for now,
yes,
we're going to say adieu and see you soon and speak to you again soon.
Yeah, no, it was nice chatting to you, Leon, as always. Chat to you tomorrow again.
We chat again tomorrow, and now I'm going to stop recording.
Yeah. And cheers to our viewers. Subscribe and like and comment. What else would you like us to talk about?
Okay, I'm going to leave that part in, and then I'm going to stop recording, so that because I always forget to say that.
Yeah.